Here in Book Summarizer channel we summarize books for you to get the benefits of reading without actually reading, so if you like the content consider subscribing. Also, if you want to buy the book, link in the description. We also have a web where we sell the books we summarize so far, link in the description.
Can a person truly succeed by accepting that they are a failure? Now that's a question to ponder. This is the question that Charles Bukowski, a man often seen as a loser, asked himself. His success didn't spring from some relentless pursuit to be a winner, but from his acceptance of being a loser. He wrote honestly about it, never pretending to be anything other than what he was. In today's culture, we are constantly bombarded with unrealistic positive expectations. Be healthier, be happier, be the best, be smarter, faster, richer, sexier, more envied and more admired. But when you strip away the glossy surface, you realize that this advice is actually fixating on what you lack. It emphasizes your perceived shortcomings and failures. The true key to a good life is not caring about more, but caring about less. It's about focusing on what's true, immediate, and important. Here's a phenomenon Manson terms as the feedback loop from hell. You're anxious about confronting something, and then you become anxious about being anxious. Or you can get angry about being angry, or feel guilty about feeling guilty. This feedback loop is becoming a borderline epidemic, making us feel overly stressed. With social media and news constantly bombarding us with images of seemingly happy people, our crisis is no longer material, it's existential, it's spiritual. We are shown countless ways we are not good enough, and this tears us apart inside. The desire for more positive experiences is in itself a negative experience. Paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experiences is a positive experience. This is what Alan Watts calls the backwards law. The more you pursue feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become. The more you want to be rich, the poorer you feel. The more you want to be happy and loved, the lonelier and more afraid you become. The more you want to be spiritually enlightened, the more self-centered and shallow you become in trying to get there. This is just the tip of the iceberg that Mark Manson explores in his book. To get a deeper understanding of these concepts and more, I encourage you to read The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F***CKE. It's a book that can truly change the way you perceive yourself and the world around you.
Ever ponder on the paradox of happiness? Why does it seem like those who care the least often reap the most? This isn't a mere coincidence, but a subtle art, the art of not giving a fuck. Imagine a gym goer gritting their teeth through each rep, each set. The pain they willingly subject themselves to results in better health and energy. Or consider the entrepreneur who stumbles and falls more times than they can count. With each failure, they gain a better understanding of what it takes to succeed. These are the people who understand that the pursuit of negative experiences often leads to positive outcomes. This is because life, in all its complexity, is woven with threads of pain and suffering. Attempting to remove these threads, to avoid or silence them, only results in more suffering. The denial of failure is a failure in itself. Hiding what is shameful, paradoxically, is a form of shame. In this life, time is limited, and so too are the fucks you have to give. The art of not giving a fuck is not about apathy or indifference. It's about focusing and prioritizing your thoughts effectively, choosing what matters to you based on your personal values. It's about being comfortable with being different. This is no easy task. It takes a lifetime of practice and discipline, and you will stumble along the way. But this struggle, this journey of self-discovery and acceptance, is perhaps the most worthy one you can embark on. Remember this. You are always choosing what to give a fuck about. Choose wisely. Reserve your fucks for the things that truly matter. Friends, family, purpose. Embrace adversity, for there is no life devoid of it. Find the challenges you enjoy dealing with. As you mature, you'll come to know and accept yourself, even the parts you aren't thrilled about. And this acceptance, this simplification of self, brings a consistent stream of happiness. So learn to use your pain as a tool, your trauma as power, and turn your problems into slightly better problems. That, my friend, is what real progress looks like.
What if the key to happiness isn't the absence of problems, but rather the ability to solve them? A peculiar thought, isn't it? Yet, there's a profound truth hidden within it. Imagine life as a never-ending game of chess, where each move represents a problem we must solve. Just as the thrill of chess lies not in the absence of challenges, but in the thrill of overcoming them. The essence of happiness, too, lies not in a problem-free existence, but in our ability to navigate and resolve the issues we encounter. Take a moment to let that sink in. You see, dissatisfaction and unease are inherent parts of our human nature. They are the driving forces that inspire change and innovation. It's the mildly dissatisfied and insecure creature that does the most work to survive. Pain, whether physical or psychological, is our body's most effective means of spurring action. It's our internal alarm system, alerting us to potential dangers and teaching us what to pay attention to. Consider the emotional pain of rejection or failure. It's not pleasant, is it? Yet this pain teaches us how to avoid making the same mistakes in the future. It's a crucial part of our personal growth and development. Emotions, too, play an interesting role in this journey. Evolved to help us live and reproduce a little bit better, emotions are feedback mechanisms telling us that something is either likely right or likely wrong for us. Negative emotions are a call to action. Positive emotions are rewards for taking the proper action. Emotions are merely signposts, suggestions our neurobiology gives us, not commandments. Therefore, we shouldn't always trust our own emotions. In fact, we should make a habit of questioning them. The overinvestment in emotion fails us because emotions never last. Whatever makes us happy today will no longer make us happy tomorrow. And so, the question we must ask ourselves is not, what do I want out of life, but rather, what pain am I willing to endure? What am I willing to struggle for? Because happiness requires struggle. It grows from problems. Real, serious, lifelong fulfillment and meaning have to be earned through the choosing and managing of our struggles. Consider the pursuit of an amazing physique. It's a goal many aspire to, yet it involves pain and physical stress in the gym and careful and limited food. In conclusion, happiness isn't the absence of problems. It's about finding problems you love to solve. It's about choosing your struggle and embracing the process. Remember, the key to happiness isn't a problem-free life, but the ability to solve problems. So choose your problems wisely and enjoy the journey.
What does it mean to truly know your worth? Is it a reflection of your achievements, your possessions, or perhaps the compliments you receive? Or could it be something more profound, more intangible? Consider this. A seed buried deep in the soil, unremarkable in its appearance, holds within it the potential to become a towering tree. Yet, without the trials of the harsh weather, the relentless sun, and the biting cold, it could never realize this potential. This is the essence of self-worth and the importance of adversity. In a world where we are often told that we are special, that we must constantly feel good about ourselves, it's easy to lose sight of what self-worth truly means. The self-esteem movement has led us to measure our worth by how positively we feel about ourselves. But this is a misguided approach. True self-worth lies not in how we feel about the positive aspects of ourselves, but how we handle the negative ones. The individuals who truly stand out, who become great, are those who are obsessed with improvement. They understand that they are not already great. They embrace the mundane truths of life, like the fact that most of our actions don't matter in the grand scheme of things, or that most of life will be unremarkable. And that's okay. It's in these mundane moments that we find the greatest joy, whether it's in simple friendship, creating something, helping someone in need, or sharing a laugh with someone dear to us. But what about suffering? It's an inevitable part of life. The question isn't how to avoid suffering, but rather, why are we suffering and for what purpose? Imagine self-awareness as an onion. The outer layer is a simple understanding of our emotions. This is when we feel happy, sad, hopeful. It takes years of practice and effort to identify our emotional blind spots and express our emotions appropriately. Peel back another layer, and we find the ability to ask why we feel certain emotions. These questions are difficult to answer, but they illuminate what we consider success or failure and help us understand the root cause of our emotions. The innermost layer of this onion reveals our personal values. How do we measure ourselves? By what standard do we judge ourselves and those around us? These values determine the nature of our problems, and the nature of our problems determines the quality of our lives. If what we value is misguided, if our definition of success and failure is flawed, then our thoughts, emotions, and everyday feelings will be out of alignment. Everything we think and feel about a situation ultimately comes back to how valuable we perceive it to be. In summary, self-worth is not about feeling good about ourselves for no reason. It's about how we handle adversity, our obsession with improvement, and our ability to find joy in the mundane. Suffering is inevitable, but it serves a purpose. It's through self-awareness, understanding our emotions, asking why, and recognizing our values that we truly understand our worth. Most importantly, it's about constantly asking ourselves these why questions and striving for deeper knowledge of our own values. This is the path to truly knowing our worth.
Imagine running a marathon. Now envision that marathon as a choice, a goal you set for yourself, a challenge you're ready to conquer. The experience is empowering, exhilarating, a testament to your strength and resilience. But what if that marathon wasn't your choice, but a forced march? The same event becomes a grueling ordeal, a painful struggle. The common thread binding these two experiences? Choice. It's the power of choice that transforms an ordeal into an opportunity, a problem into a possibility. Consider the story of William James, a man who, despite being born into affluence, was plagued with a myriad of health issues from birth. His life was a litany of challenges: temporary blindness, chronic stomach problems, hearing difficulties, debilitating back spasms. School was a struggle, and his father's harsh criticism only deepened his sense of failure. His siblings seemed to excel effortlessly, their achievements casting a long shadow over his perceived inadequacies. Discouraged, James dropped out of Harvard Medical School, sinking into a deep depression. He was on the brink of ending his life. But then, something shifted. While reading Charles Peirce's philosophical lectures, James made a choice. He decided to conduct an experiment, a year-long test, during which he would take 100% responsibility for everything that happened in his life. He promised himself that he would do everything within his power to change his circumstances, regardless of the possibility of failure. If nothing improved after a year, he reasoned, it meant he was truly powerless. But if things changed, it meant he had the power to shape his own destiny. The result? William James, once the black sheep of his family, became the father of American psychology. His experiment, his choice to take responsibility for his life, was the catalyst for a transformation. It was, in his words, his rebirth. We don't always have control over what happens to us, but we always have control over how we interpret and respond to these events. We are always choosing the values we live by and the metrics by which we measure our experiences. The same event can be perceived as either good or bad depending on the metric we choose. So let's unpack this. We often link responsibility with power. With great power comes great responsibility, says the familiar adage. But the reverse is also true. With great responsibility comes great power. Accepting responsibility for our problems is the first step towards solving them. Take the case of a man who felt he was too short to attract women. The value he chose, height, became his stumbling block. But what if he chose a different metric? What if he decided, I want to date women who like me for who I am, a value that prioritizes honesty and acceptance? Many of us hesitate to take responsibility for our problems because we equate responsibility with fault. But responsibility and fault are not the same. We can be responsible for experiences that aren't our fault. Fault is rooted in the past, in choices already made. Responsibility, on the other hand, is in the present, in the choices we're making right now, every second of every day. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? The power of choice is transformative. It's the key that unlocks the door to change, to growth, to new possibilities. Whether we realize it or not, we are always choosing. And in every choice lies the power to shape our lives.